your future self has already won. That life you are striving for, the success you are working to build, the peace you are fighting to feel, it has already been achieved. It exists, right now, as a concrete reality in your future. And from that point of victory, your future self is sending a reward back through time, to you. This is not a beautiful spiritual idea. This is not a metaphor. Your future self has a reward for you. It's not coming someday. It is imminent. And they sent you here to this video at this exact time, as the final preparation before it happens. This is not wishful thinking. It is a function of space-time, a consequence of a proven principle in quantum physics called retrocausality. It is the documented, observable phenomenon of the future influencing the past. The observer in the future literally changes what happened in the past. This video is the final signal they sent to prepare you. It is an activation key. In the next hour, you will learn to decode their messages, to recognize the unmistakable signs of your imminent reward, and to open yourself to receive what is already yours by inheritance. Your consciousness is the antenna, exquisitely designed to receive these signals from the future. But like any advanced instrument, it requires precise tuning. That is our work today. We are going to attune the antenna. To understand how this is possible, we must look to the work of the legendary physicist John Wheeler and his famous thought experiment, later proven in laboratories around the world, the delayed choice experiment. The implications of this experiment are so profound, so reality-shattering, that most of us have never been told the true story. Imagine a single particle of light, a photon, is fired toward a screen. In its path are two slits. The experiment is designed to answer a simple question. Does the photon go through one slit, like a tiny marble, or does it go through both slits at the same time, like a wave? Here is the unbelievable part. The decision of how to measure the photon, whether to check if it acted like a particle or a wave, is made after. The photon has already passed the slits. Logically, its past behavior should be fixed. It has already happened, but it isn't. If the scientists in the future decide to look for a particle, the photon is found to have gone through only one slit in the past. If they decide to look for a wave, the photon is found to have gone through both slits in the past. Let that land. The choice you make in the present undeniably alters an event that has already concluded. Information is not just moving forward, it is flowing backward from the future into the past. Your life is a quantum event. Your consciousness is the observer. The powerful choices, the certainties, and the achievements of your future self are the measurement that is changing your past, your present moment, right now. If you've ever felt a pull toward a future you can't yet see, hit the like button now. It signals that you're ready to receive the message your future self sent you here to hear. This scientific reality is the reason for the profound spiritual exhaustion you've been feeling. You have been on the verge of a breakthrough for so long. You have done the work. You have kept the faith. You have followed the guidance. But the final, tangible reward has felt perpetually just out of reach. This feeling of being so close, yet so far, is not a sign of your failure. It is the primary evidence that this process is working. You have felt the pre-shocks of the main event. Think about it. You've had that moment where everything was aligning perfectly. The job interview that felt like a destiny fulfilled, only for the position to be eliminated at the last second. You've experienced that surge of creative genius, pouring your soul into a project that you knew was the one, only to see it lose momentum and fade away. You've seen the synchronicities, the right book falling off the shelf, hearing the same obscure name 3 times in a day, meeting the person who held the key, and you followed the breadcrumbs with absolute certainty, only to find the path went cold right at the final door. Each of these moments was not a near miss. It was not a cruel joke from the universe. It was a signal. It was a calibration test from your future self. Each time, the echo of your future success was getting stronger, closer, more defined. The static and interference of your old reality were being cleared. These weren't endings. They were the necessary collapses of inferior timelines to make way for the one that is now about to arrive. That feeling of being on the precipice wasn't your imagination. It's the echo of your reward getting louder as you approach the event horizon of its delivery. To grasp this, we need a new metaphor. one that is built on the physics we've just discussed. I call it the time echo. Imagine your future success, the moment you receive the reward, achieve the dream, become the person you were meant to be, is a massive event in space-time. Think of it as a clap of thunder, a powerful, reality-defining explosion of energy. Now, in our linear thinking, we are taught to look for the lightning flash first, then wait for the thunder. The event, then the evidence. But in the quantum reality you inhabit, this is reversed. The sound of that future success, its vibrational echo, travels backward through time. This echo reaches you now, long before you see the lightning flash of the actual event. Your intuition, that gut feeling, that sudden knowing that defies all logic. That is you hearing the echo, that inexplicable pull toward a certain path, the strange sense of homesickness for a place you've never been. That is the echo. The synchronicities, the glitches in the matrix, are the sonic booms of that future event rippling through your present reality. It's like dropping a giant boulder into the far end of a still pond. The success of your future self is the boulder hitting the water. The ripples don't just move forward from the point of impact, they move in all directions, including backward, toward the shore where you are standing now. Those moments of the almost breakthrough were the first faint ripples touching your feet. They were confirmation that the boulder had already been dropped, that the event was locked in. Now the main wave is about to arrive. You are no longer guessing. You are no longer hoping. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, undeniable protocol to distinguish the voice of your future self from the noise of your fear. You will be able to tell the difference between a true echo from the future and the wishful thinking of the present. You will possess the tools to not just passively wait for this reward, but to actively clear the pathway for its arrival. You will shift, permanently, from someone hoping for a better future to someone actively inheriting a future that has already been secured. You are not building a bridge to a distant shore. You are being asked to turn around and receive the map that is being sent to you from that very shore. The journey is not about getting there. It's about realizing you are already being guided home. The proof is not in philosophy. It's in the physics. What I told you about the future influencing the past, this time echo, is not a comforting metaphor. It is a fundamental, bizarre, and rigorously tested property of the reality you are living in right now. To truly grasp this, we must go to the source. We must look at one of the most mind-bending experiments in the history of science, John Archibald Wheeler's delayed choice experiment. Imagine a simple setup. A device fires a single particle of light, a single photon, at a screen with two thin, parallel slits. On the other side of that screen is a detector. Now the quantum mystery, the one that baffled Einstein himself, is this: how does that single photon go through the two slits? If it's a particle, like a tiny bullet, it must choose one slit or the other. But if it's a wave, like a ripple in a pond, it can go through both slits at the same time, creating an interference pattern on the other side. For decades, physicists knew that if you place a detector at the slits to see which path the photon takes, it behaves like a particle. It picks a slit. But if you don't look, it behaves like a wave, going through both at once. The act of observing it in the past determines its nature. But Wheeler, a giant of theoretical physics, asked a truly radical question. What if we decide whether to look after the photon has already gone through the slits? Think about what that means. The photon is fired. It travels toward the two slits. At this point in time, it has to decide whether to be a particle or a wave. It passes through. It continues its journey. And only then, nanoseconds later, but critically, after the event, does the experimenter choose whether to activate a detector to see which path it took. Logic dictates that this choice should be irrelevant. The photon's history is already written. It either went through one slit or both. The choice made in the future cannot possibly reach back in time and change what has already happened, but it does. Every single time the experiment is run, the result is the same. If the scientists choose to activate the detector in the future, the photon in the past behaves like a particle and goes through only one slit. If they choose not to activate the detector in the future, the photon in the past behaves like a wave and goes through both. Let that sink in. The choice you make right now undeniably alters an event that has already occurred. The future is not just affecting the present The future is actively shaping the past. Information is not flowing in one direction. It is a two-way street. Your future is sending echoes back to your past, and you are living in those echoes right now. Think back to a time you had a powerful intuitive hit that defied logic. Was that you guessing, or was it you receiving a faint echo from the future? What if you've been connected all along? This natural law, this demonstrable truth of reality, is the foundation for what we call the quantum inheritance protocol. This is not a new technique you need to learn. It is the forgotten operating system of your consciousness. It's an awareness you are born with, an innate ability that gets clouded by the noise of a world obsessed with linear time. The protocol has three core components, and understanding them brings everything into focus. First, there is the broadcast. This is the powerful, coherent signal being sent out by your future self. Not the self of next week or next year, but the version of you that has already achieved the breakthrough. The you that has mastered the lessons, reaped the rewards, and is living in a state of profound peace and certainty. This version of you exists as a stable reality in the quantum field, and like a powerful radio tower, it is constantly broadcasting its frequency, its feeling, its essence. Second, there is the signal. This is the time echo we've been discussing. The broadcast from your future self travels backward through time, through the medium of the quantum field. As it reaches your present, it doesn't arrive as a clear voice or a vision. It arrives as intuition, as synchronicity, as a gut feeling, a sudden creative urge, an inexplicable pull towards something or away from something else. These are not random events. They are fragments of information from the future, encoded in feeling and circumstance. And third, there is the receiver. That's you. Your consciousness, specifically your body's somatic intelligence, is the antenna. It is perfectly designed to pick up the signal. The problem is that for most of your life, you've been told to ignore the antenna and trust only the logical mind, which can only process the past. Your mind is a rear-view mirror. Your body is a radar for the future. This protocol reveals precisely why so many of the old spiritual and self-help methods have felt so draining, so frustrating, and ultimately so ineffective for you. They were based on a flawed, linear model of reality. They taught you to shout into the canyon, hoping to create an echo, when your real job was to be silent and listen for the echo that was already on its way. Let's diagnose three of these failed methods. First, rigid visualization. You were taught to build a hyper-specific movie in your mind of what you wanted, down to the last detail. The intention was good, but the execution violates the protocol. By trying to dictate the exact form of your future from the limited perspective of your present, you are essentially trying to send a blueprint forward in time. You are shouting instructions. This closes you off from the infinitely more intelligent, more elegant plan your future self is broadcasting back to you. You are trying to build a shack when they are sending you the keys to a kingdom. The effort to control the how blocks your ability to receive the what. Second, desperate affirmation. You stood in the mirror, repeating, "I am wealthy," when your entire nervous system was screaming, "I am terrified of my bills." This doesn't send a signal of wealth to the universe. It sends a powerful signal of cognitive dissonance. It's an energetic screech. Your future self isn't broadcasting words, it's broadcasting a feeling, a frequency of certainty and peace. Desperate affirmations, rooted in a feeling of lack, are broadcasting the frequency of absence. You are trying to drown out the clear, calm signal of your inheritance with the static of your own fear. And third, the most subtle failure, misaligned, acting as if. You were told to act as if you already had what you desired. So you bought the expensive suit or forced a confident posture, but inside you felt like an imposter. This is like putting a new case on an old, untuned radio. It looks better, but it still can't pick up the station. Truth to acting as if isn't about external performance. It's about achieving internal resonance. It's about feeling, in your body, the calm certainty of your future self, and then allowing your actions to flow naturally from that state. The old way created a fractured identity. The quantum inheritance protocol creates an integrated one. So, this is how to connect with future self in a way that actually works. You stop trying to send messages and start learning to receive them. This leads us to the new paradigm, the profound, life-altering shift that will lift the weight of the world from your shoulders. You do not create your best future. It already exists. Your job is not to build a bridge to it, brick by painstaking brick. Your job is to receive the map it is sending back to you and simply walk the path. Your role shifts from the striving creator, burdened with figuring everything out, to the receiving inheritor, guided by a higher intelligence that is, quite literally, your own. The pressure is off. The striving can end. The game is not about construction, it's about reception. You are not pushing a boulder uphill. You are allowing a powerful current to carry you home. We have been taught a fundamental spiritual truth. Your thoughts create your reality. And this is true, but it is only half the story. It is a map of the territory read upside down. For decades, we have been told to stand in our present moment and project our thoughts and intentions forward, like an arrow shot into the unknown, hoping it hits the target of a better future. We have been taught that the creative force flows in one direction only, from past to present to future. This is the greatest misunderstanding of our creative power. It is the source of the spiritual fatigue that so many of you feel. The great revelation, the paradigm shift that rearranges everything you thought you knew, is this: it is the thoughts, feelings, and absolute certainty of your future self that are creating your present reality. The creative flow is not a push, it is a pull. Your future self, the version of you that has already achieved the success, found the love, and embodied the peace you seek, is a tremendously powerful and coherent energetic reality. That reality is not just a dream, it is a destination that already exists on the map of space-time, and from that point of destination, it exerts a gravitational pull on the present moment. It broadcasts a signal back through time, a coherent frequency of completion, of victory, of arrival. That broadcast interacts with the infinite potential of the quantum field around you right now, organizing it, shaping it, and collapsing it into the very synchronicities, opportunities, and challenges that will most efficiently pull you toward it. You are not sending a signal to the future. You are the antenna, built to receive a powerful broadcast from a future that has already happened. Let this sink into the very architecture of your being. This is not just a comforting idea. It is the central operating principle of the quantum inheritance protocol, and understanding it changes everything. This means your anxiety about getting it right can finally dissolve. The immense pressure you've put on yourself to hold the perfect vision, to say the right affirmations, to never slip into doubt, that pressure can be released. The plan is already complete. The victory is already secured. Your future self is not hoping you figure it out. They are executing a proven strategy from a position of absolute certainty. Your job is not to forge the path, but to walk the path they are illuminating for you, one step at a time. The weight of creation is not on your shoulders. It never was. What if the success you've been working so hard to build isn't something you have to construct, but an inheritance you simply have to claim? Let that shift land in your body. This means the strange detours and painful delays you have experienced in your life were not mistakes. They were not punishments or signs of your failure. They were intelligent, deliberate course corrections orchestrated from a higher vantage point. That job you lost, that relationship that ended, that opportunity that fell through at the last second, from your linear perspective, they felt like setbacks. From the perspective of your future self, they were crucial maneuvers to take you off a timeline that led to a dead end and place you onto the superhighway that leads directly to them. Every perceived failure was actually a rescue. This means that synchronicities are not random, lucky events. They are not glitches in the matrix. They are the logistics of your inheritance being delivered. That strange coincidence, that book falling off a shelf, hearing the same name 3 times in one day. These are not magical accidents. They are breadcrumbs, deliberately placed on your path by your future self. They are confirmation signals, designed to get your attention and say, yes, keep going. You're on the right track. The signal is strong here. They are the mechanics of grace, proving that a higher intelligence is actively rearranging reality for your benefit. And this means that the profound feeling of home knot you have for a reality you've never experienced is not a fantasy. That deep, inexplicable pull toward a certain lifestyle, a certain feeling, a certain accomplishment, it is not merely desire. It is a memory of the future, You are homesick for a place you have already been, on a timeline that is pulling you toward it. That feeling is the most powerful evidence you have. It is the echo of your future self's reality, resonating in the cells of your present body. So, the entire approach must shift. We must move away from an approach of effort and into an approach of attunement. We move from willpower to willingness. For years, you have been trying to push a river, using all your force and might to make it flow where you think it should go. It is exhausting. It is unnatural. The new way is to stop pushing, to get in the boat, pick up the paddle, and simply steer in the current that is already flowing powerfully toward the ocean of your fulfillment. The river knows the way. Your future self is the river's current. Your only work is to let go of the resistance, the doubt, the fear, the old stories that makes you fight against the very current that is trying to take you home. This leads to the final, most profound transformation, an identity transformation. For so long, you have carried the exhausting identity of the conscious creator. It sounds empowering, but feel the weight of it. The conscious creator bears all the responsibility. They must build the reality from scratch. They must hold the vision against all odds. They must generate the energy, overcome every obstacle through sheer force of will, and bear the crushing weight of any failure. It is a heavy, heroic, and deeply tiring identity. It is the identity of someone who believes they are separate from their reward. Today, you are invited to let that identity go. You can let it fall away, with gratitude for all it has taught you, and you can step into the empowered, elegant, and light identity of the quantum inheritor. The inheritor does not build the kingdom. They receive the keys. Their power is not in their struggle, but in their alignment. They do not need to create the reward. They simply need to become the person who is worthy of receiving it. The inheritor's primary work is attunement, listening and trusting. They understand that the fortune has already been made, the will has already been written, and their name is on it. They feel light, certain, and guided because they know they are not walking alone. They are walking toward the open arms of a future that is already and forever theirs. This isn't just theory. This isn't an abstract model of the universe. The quantum inheritance protocol is a living, breathing reality, and it leaves footprints in your daily life. Your future self is already broadcasting signals to you, preparing you for the great handover that is imminent. The reason you haven't recognized them until now is because these signals are often profoundly misunderstood. They don't feel like the Hollywood signs of a breakthrough. They feel strange. They feel counterintuitive. Sometimes they even feel like failure. But today that ends. Right now we are going to decode the 3 most powerful and most misinterpreted signs that your reward is on its way. You will learn to see the evidence that has been surrounding you all along. You will shift from someone searching for proof to someone who recognizes the pattern in the noise. The first and most powerful sign is what I call the great dissatisfaction. This is a sudden, deep, and inexplicable loss of passion for the very things you thought defined you. It could be your career, a long-held dream, even a relationship. On the surface, it looks and feels like burnout, or worse, depression. Your logical mind panics, telling you that you are losing your drive, that you are failing, that you're throwing away everything you've worked for. But this is not an ending. It is a clearing. This is one of the clearest signs from my future self you will ever receive. It is a message of profound love and efficiency. Your future self is weaning you off a timeline that is about to become obsolete. They are lovingly detaching your emotional and energetic investment from a reality that cannot contain the magnitude of the reward they have prepared for you. It's an act of mercy, preventing you from pouring more of your life force into a container that is about to be replaced. Consider the story of a client, an architect named Amelia. For a decade, architecture was her entire identity. She landed a position at a prestigious firm, her dream job, and for years, it was fulfilling. But then, over the course of a few months, a strange hollowness began to set in. The thrill of designing beautiful spaces vanished. The work felt like ash in her mouth. She would sit in meetings, surrounded by success, feeling like a ghost. She was plagued with guilt. She told herself she was ungrateful, that she was manufacturing her own misery. Her friends and family couldn't understand. But this is everything you've ever wanted, they'd say. And logically, they were right. She was at the peak of the mountain she had chosen to climb. only to find the view left her cold. This is the core of the great dissatisfaction. It defies logic. It is a truth felt in the body, not the mind. After months of turmoil, she did the unthinkable. She resigned, with no plan, no safety net. It felt like a freefall, a catastrophic failure. 2 weeks later, floating in that terrifying void, she received an email from a university professor she hadn't spoken to in years. He was leading a humanitarian project to design and build self-sustaining community centers in remote underserved regions. He remembered her student thesis on biomimicry and thought she would be perfect to lead the design team. It wasn't just a job, it was the physical manifestation of her deepest, unexpressed purpose. It was a project that required a level of creative freedom and soulful engagement that her corporate job could never have allowed. Had she stayed in that prestigious firm, she would have been too busy, too successful, to even consider it. Her future self knew this. The great dissatisfaction wasn't a sign that she was failing. It was a signal that her soul was being prepared for a reality so much grander than the one her mind had settled for. It was the echo of her true calling, arriving just in time to pull her off the wrong track. The second sign your inheritance is close is the synchronistic storm. This is a sudden, dramatic acceleration of meaningful coincidences. It's when the universe stops whispering and starts shouting. You might hear an obscure word you were just thinking about on the radio. You might run into 3 different people from your tiny hometown in the span of a week. You might see the same sequence of numbers over and over again until it becomes almost comical. These are not random quirks. They are glitches in the matrix, indicating that your reality is being rewritten at a fundamental level. This is your future self, sending a signal that the quantum field is actively reconfiguring itself around your new timeline. The coincidences are the seams of your old reality stretching to accommodate the new one. They are the scaffolding of your future becoming visible in your present. In the comments below, share which of these 3 signs resonates the most powerfully. Let's create a collective field of evidence and validate for each other that these echoes are real. I read every one. The synchronistic storm often arrives when you are at your most confused, right in the wake of the great dissatisfaction. Think of David, a software developer who had poured his life savings into an app he believed in, but he couldn't secure the final round of funding. He was weeks away from having to shut it all down. Despair was setting in, and then the storm began. One morning, he was listening to a philosophy podcast and heard the speaker use a strange phrase, the architecture of resonance. Later that day, driving to a final, desperate meeting with a potential investor, he saw the same phrase on a billboard advertising a new art exhibit. He felt a jolt, a strange flicker of alignment. He walked into the meeting, his heart pounding, and after his presentation, the investor leaned back, looked him in the eye and said, "What I like about this, what I see, is its architecture of resonance." David was stunned into silence. It was the key that unlocked everything. The investor didn't just fund the project. He understood its soul. The synchronicities were not the reward itself. They were the trail of breadcrumbs laid by his future self, leading him through the forest of his doubt to the exact right person at the exact right time. The universe wasn't being cute. It was being incredibly precise. The storm is a confirmation that powerful forces are moving on your behalf. Your only job is not to understand every single coincidence, but to follow the feeling of alignment they generate. Follow the resonance. The third sign is the most subtle, the most unnerving, and the most misunderstood. It is the calm before the dawn. This is a period of profound quiet that descends after the chaos of the storm. The synchronicities may fade. The phone stops ringing. The opportunities seem to dry up. To the ego, this feels like the ultimate abandonment. After all the signs and the excitement, the universe suddenly goes silent. This is the moment most people panic. They think, "I was so close and when I lost it, I did something wrong." But this silence is the most sacred sign of all. This is your future self, sending you the clearest signal possible. It is done. The work is complete. Stop pushing. Stop striving. Simply allow the final pieces to click into place. This quiet is not the absence of progress. It is the presence of completion. It is the final render of your new reality. It is the quiet in the concert hall moments before the symphony begins. Imagine a potter who has just finished shaping a beautiful vase. Their work is done. Now, the vase must simply sit in the kiln, in the quiet darkness, to be fired, to become permanent. Any interference at this stage would crack the vessel. The calm, before the dawn, is your kiln. It is a mandated period of integration. The universe is telling you to take your hands off the wheel because you have arrived. A woman named Maria, a healer, experienced this with crushing intensity. After a period of incredible growth and synchronicity where her practice exploded, everything suddenly stopped. Clients cancelled, workshops didn't fill, her inbox was empty, the silence was deafening. She fell into a crisis of faith, believing she had lost her gift. For a month, she was forced into a state of deep surrender. She had nothing to do but walk in nature, read, and just be with herself. And in that enforced stillness, she realized her recent success had inflated her ego, disconnecting her from the very source of her healing gift. The quiet wasn't a punishment, it was a purification. It was a divine pause, orchestrated by her future self, to recalibrate her identity so she could handle the even greater level of success that was waiting. The reward was ready, but she was not. The calm was the final preparation. At the end of that month of stillness, she received a call from a national publication wanting to do a feature story that would take her work to a global audience. The calm was not an end. It was the necessary void that preceded the birth of a star. Do you see the pattern? These are not isolated events. They are a sequence, a reliable, repeatable process. First, the great dissatisfaction arrives to clear the path. Then, the synchronistic storm descends to build the new framework. And finally, the calm before the dawn arrives for the final integration. When you recognize this sequence playing out in your life, you can stop fighting it. You can stop misinterpreting it as failure. You are witnessing the physics of your inheritance in real time. You are in the final approach. Your only job is to trust, to allow, and to prepare to receive. You understand the theory. You recognize the signs in your own life. You have moved from hope to a dawning conviction that something real is happening. Now, we move beyond the mind. We move beyond intellectual agreement and into direct, embodied experience. Because a concept understood is a map, a reality felt is the territory itself. It's time to stop looking at the map and start walking the land. It is time to attune you directly to the frequency of your inheritance. So, if it is safe and comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to gently close your eyes. If you are driving or in a situation where you need to remain fully alert, simply allow your focus to soften. Keep your eyes open, but let your awareness turn inward. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the day. Release the need to understand. Release the effort of trying to figure anything out. For the next few minutes, your only job is to feel, to allow, to receive. Let's begin by sensing the present field. Bring your awareness to the points of contact between your body and the surface supporting you, the weight of you, held completely, the gentle pull of gravity, a constant, reassuring anchor to this moment. Feel the air on your skin, the subtle temperature changes, the fabric of your clothing. Simply notice, without judgment, without a story. Now, expand that awareness beyond your skin. Sense the space your body occupies in the room, the volume of air around you. This space is not empty. It is not a void. It is the quantum field itself, a vibrant, intelligent, infinite sea of pure potential. Everything that ever was, and everything that ever will be, exists as a silent possibility within this field. It is the medium. It is the ocean through which the echoes of the future travel back to you. Feel yourself suspended in this ocean of pure latency, a receiver waiting for its signal. And now, we will connect with the future broadcast. I want you to let go of any need to visualize a specific future. Release all pictures, all mental movies of what you want to happen. This is not about seeing, it is about feeling. This is a process of somatic resonance, not mental construction. Somewhere in that infinite field of potential is a version of you that has already succeeded, a version of you that is living the full actualization of your deepest desires. They are not hoping, they are not striving, they are complete. Don't try to see them. Feel for them. Like you are tuning an old radio, slowly turning the dial, listening for a clear station through the static. You are not creating the broadcast. You are simply finding its frequency. Allow your awareness to scan the field and listen with the intelligence of your body for a signal, a resonance, a pull. What does it feel like? It feels like expansion. It feels like relief. It feels like certainty, so deep and so quiet it needs no evidence. It feels like freedom. It feels like peace. Follow that feeling. Move your attention toward it. Let it grow stronger, clearer. This is the frequency of your future self. This is the energy signature of your success, your joy, your wholeness, broadcast back through the quantum field. You are not inventing this feeling. You are detecting it. It is real. It exists right now. Tune into that feeling. Let it become the most dominant sensation in your awareness. As you integrate that feeling from your future, what one word captures its essence? Is it peace, certainty, abundance? Hold that word. It is your tuning fork. Now, sir, for the most important step. You will receive the echo as you hold your attention on this frequency, on this feeling of your completed future self. Feel that version of you turn its awareness back toward you. Right here, right now. Feel their profound presence as they connect with you. Across the illusion of time, they see you. They know your journey. They know the doubts you've had, the fatigue you've felt, the courage you have shown, and they are sending you a transmission. This is not your imagination. This is a real transfer of information, of energy. Feel the unconditional love they are sending you. It's not pity. It's a deep, powerful respect for the part of the journey you are on. Feel the certainty they are sending you, a certainty so absolute that it dissolves all your fear. They know the outcome. They have lived it. They are broadcasting that knowing directly into your cellular structure. Feel the encouragement, the silent message. You are doing everything right. You are exactly where you need to be. Just hold on. We are here. It is done. Open every part of your being to this transmission. Receive it into your heart. Let it fill your chest with warmth and expansion. Receive it into your mind. Let it quiet the frantic thoughts and replace them with a profound sense of peace. Receive it into your body. Let it untangle the knots of tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. This is the feeling of your inheritance arriving, not as a future event, but as a present moment reality. Allow it to saturate you completely. This is your truth. This is your true north. Finally, we will anchor this frequency, this feeling of being guided, of being loved, of being already complete. This is not a temporary state to visit in meditation. This is your new baseline. This is the frequency from which you will now live. This is the resonant signature of your true self. From now on, you navigate by this feeling. Every choice, every thought, every action will be measured against this internal compass. Does it align with this feeling of wholeness, or does it pull you away from it? This feeling is your home. Take one more deep breath, breathing this reality, this certainty, this feeling of completion deep into your lungs. And as you exhale, know that you have been fundamentally changed. You have been recalibrated. When you are ready, you can slowly begin to bring your awareness back to the room, maybe by wiggling your fingers and toes, gently shifting your body. And only when you feel fully present, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Take a moment. Don't rush. Notice the shift. Notice the quality of the light in the room. Notice the stillness inside of you. You did not create that. You received it. You have just had a direct communion with your own future, and your entire energy field is now vibrating with the truth of its reward. That feeling you just touched is your new reality. It is not something you have to earn. It is not something you must strive for. It is your natural state, your energetic home, your birthright returned to you. You are no longer someone working to get there. You are someone living from there, right now. The identity of the anxious seeker can finally be laid to rest. The era of the quantum inheritor has begun, but an inheritance is useless if it remains an abstract concept. It must be lived. It must be embodied in your choices, your actions, your very presence. And so as we move from the sacred experience of connection to the practical mastery of daily life. To do this, the Quantum Inheritance Protocol gives you 3 elegant, powerful tools. These are not chores. They are not rituals you must perform perfectly. They are instruments of attunement to make this new reality your permanent home. The first tool is called the morning attunement, and it will change the entire trajectory of your day. Most people wake up and immediately plug into the chaos of the old world. They check their phone. They read the news. They flood their consciousness with the anxieties, demands, and obligations of a reality they wish to leave behind. They attune their energy to the frequency of static and struggle before their feet even hit the floor. The quantum inheritor does the opposite. Before you check your phone, you check in with your future. It takes less than 5 minutes. Before you do anything else, you sit in silence. You close your eyes and you take 3 deep breaths, signaling to your body that you are safe, that you are present. You don't need to enter a deep meditative state. You simply need to become still. Then you gently recall the feeling you just experienced, that feeling of your future self, that sense of peace, of certainty, of expansion. You bring that resonance into your body, just for a moment. Then you ask a simple, open question, not with your voice but with your intention. You might ask, what is the primary resonance for today? Or, what is the feeling key that unlocks my highest path today? Do not ask for specifics. Do not ask, what should I do? You are not seeking a to-do list. You are attuning to a frequency, and then you listen. You listen with your whole body. The answer will not likely come in words. It will come as a subtle echo. It might be a single word that floats into your mind like ease, or courage, or flow. It might be a feeling, a sense of quiet confidence, or playful curiosity. It may even be an urge to focus on a particular color, or a subtle physical sensation. This is the echo of the day. It is the key signature your future self is broadcasting to help you navigate the hours ahead. Hold it for a moment, thank it, and then begin your day. Now, there are common mistakes here that can short-circuit the process. The first is expecting a detailed psychic download. Your logical mind wants a paragraph of instructions. Your future self communicates in the language of quantum information, resonance, feeling, and pure potential. To expect a sentence is to be listening for the wrong thing. You are tuning a radio to a frequency, not listening for a phone call. The second mistake is trying to force a feeling. If you sit down and nothing comes, that is the message. The message is stillness. The message is to not push. The attunement is about receiving, not conjuring. And the third mistake is judging the signal. If the word you receive is patience, your ego might reject it. If the feeling is rest, your ambition might fight it. Trust that the signal you receive is the precise energetic nutrient you need for the day ahead. This practice, done daily, primes your entire sensory system to recognize the opportunities, synchronicities, and pathways that align with your future timeline. It is the scientific equivalent of setting your internal GPS to the destination of your highest good. This leads us to the second tool, the retrocausal decision filter. Throughout your day, you will be faced with choices, small ones, large ones. Traditionally, you might make a pro and con list. You analyze, you strategize, you use linear logic to try and predict the best outcome. This is the method of the striving creator, trying to build a bridge to the future brick by painstaking brick. The quantum inheritor uses a far more advanced and accurate technology, their own somatic intelligence. The retrocausal decision filter works because your body is the ultimate antenna for quantum information. It can feel the echo of a future consequence long before your mind can calculate it. The process is simple, but profound. When faced with a choice, option A or option B, you pause. You find a quiet space, even if it's just for 60 seconds. You take a breath, and you bring option A into your mind. Don't just think about it. Imagine you have already chosen it. Feel the energetic reality of that choice in your body. Now, ask a simple question. Does this feeling align with the frequency of my future self? Does it feel expansive? Does it create a sense of peace, of rightness, of calm certainty? Or does it feel constricting? Does it create a subtle tension in your gut, a tightness in your chest, a feeling of anxiety masquerading as excitement? Be brutally honest with your body's response. Then, let it go. Clear your energetic palate. Take another breath. Now, bring option B into your mind and body. Imagine you have chosen this path, feel its reality, and ask again, does this feeling align with the frequency of my future self? The choice that feels more like home, more like the resonance you connected with in your attunement, that is the correct path, even if it makes no logical sense, even if it defies all conventional wisdom. Your body is detecting the echo from a future that has already happened, and it is telling you which path leads you there most directly. What is one decision you are facing right now that changes completely when you ask, what choice aligns with the reality my future self is broadcasting? The most common mistake with this tool is confusing the high-frequency agitation of fear or egoic excitement with the calm, expansive energy of true alignment. True alignment feels like peace. It feels like coming home. It doesn't always feel thrilling. Often, it feels deeply, quietly correct. The second mistake is letting your linear mind talk you out of the body's wisdom. Your mind will say, but this other option is safer, it pays more, it's what's expected of me. The filter requires that you trust the quantum signal over the social programming. This trust is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The third and final tool ties it all together. It is called action as amplification. Your future self is constantly sending signals, your intuition, your gut feelings, your creative urges. These are the echoes. When you receive one, you have a choice. You can analyze it, doubt it, or ignore it, or you can amplify it. Taking a small, immediate physical action on an intuitive hit is the most powerful way to strengthen the connection to your future self. It is a way of broadcasting back through the quantum field. Message received, I'm listening, send more. If you have a sudden urge to reach out to an old friend, send the text immediately. Don't wait. If a book title pops into your head, look it up right then. If you feel a nudge to drive a different way to work, do it. The action itself doesn't have to be monumental. The power is in its immediacy and its trust. This is not about being reckless. It is about honoring the subtle guidance system you are now attuned to. Every time you act on an echo, you do two things. You reinforce to your subconscious mind that these signals are real and valuable, and you send a resonance of trust back into the quantum field, which in turn allows your future self to send clearer, stronger, and more frequent signals. The mistake here is waiting for the entire plan to be revealed before taking the first step. The echo is not the blueprint. It is the very next breadcrumb on the path. You don't need to see the destination. You only need to take the next indicated step. Another mistake is dismissing the impulse as insignificant. Oh, that's just a random thought. There are no random thoughts when you are living in an attuned state. There is only signal and noise, and you are learning to hear the signal above all else. This tool works because of the observer effect in quantum physics. Your focused action, born from an intuitive echo, is a powerful act of observation that begins to collapse the infinite wave of potential into the specific, desired reality your future self inhabits. So here is the framework. The daily practice of the quantum inheritor. You begin your day with the morning attunement, setting your frequency and receiving the energetic key for the day. As you move through your day, you use the retrocausal decision filter to navigate choices, big and small, always choosing the path that resonates with the feeling of your future home. And whenever you receive an intuitive hit, a creative nudge, an echo, you honor it with action as amplification, strengthening the feedback loop. Attune, navigate, amplify. This is not a system of effort. It is a system of flow. It creates a powerful, self-reinforcing cycle. The more you attune, the clearer your navigation becomes. The better your navigation, the more confident your action. The more you act, the stronger the signal becomes for your next attunement. This is how you don't just visit your future. This is how you pull it into your present. You now have the understanding. You have seen the evidence in the architecture of reality and recognized the signs in the fabric of your own life. You have the tools. You have moved from the mind into the body, from theory into direct, somatic experience. You are no longer someone hoping for the future. You are actively, consciously receiving its guidance in the present. You have felt the frequency. You have anchored the signal. You have activated the quantum inheritance protocol. This is no small thing. It is a fundamental shift in your relationship with time, reality, and your own highest potential. You are not the person who began this video. That person was waiting for a permission slip from the universe. You are now the one who signs it. You are ready, receiving your inheritance from one brilliant, successful, and inevitable future timeline is the masterpiece of this level of consciousness. It is the graduation. But what if graduation is not an end, but the entrance to a hall of even greater possibilities? What if this isn't the only timeline available to you? What if your future self is not a single point, but a field, a vast, shimmering landscape of infinite successful outcomes, each one broadcasting its own unique frequency, its own echo back through time? You have learned to tune your receiver to the clearest, strongest signal, the one you were closest to, the one that had been preparing you. But what of the others? The future where you are the celebrated artist, the future where you are the groundbreaking scientist, the future where you experience a profound and quiet peace that surpasses all understanding. All of these exist. They are not dreams. They are latent realities, parallel worlds, waiting for an observer to choose them, to collapse their wave of potential into the particle of experience. You have mastered the art of receiving. You had to. You cannot browse the cosmic library until you first learn how to read a single page. When you master receiving, you open the door to conscious choosing. The science that underpins this next great leap is the theory of parallel realities, known in quantum mechanics as the many worlds interpretation. This isn't science fiction. It's a legitimate theoretical framework proposed by physicists to solve the paradoxes of quantum measurement. It suggests that every time a quantum event has more than one possible outcome, the universe splits into different branches, one for each outcome. Every possible future, therefore, exists right now, running in parallel to your own. You have been living in one of these streams, feeling the pull of its inevitable conclusion. Learning to receive the echo was about learning to surrender to that current, to align with that single, powerful timeline. The next step is to lift your head, look around, and realize you are standing at the confluence of infinite rivers. The next step is to learn to choose which current to step into. This moves you from a passive inheritor to a sovereign navigator of reality itself. It requires everything you have learned here today: the attunement, the trust, the ability to feel the resonance of a future reality. But it adds a new layer of conscious command. It's the difference between being a passenger on a destined ship and being its captain, with a map of all possible oceans in your hands. That's why our next transmission is called Quantum Timelines Explained: How to Choose the Future That's Calling You. We will explore the staggering proof behind the many worlds theory and provide a clear, actionable protocol for consciously selecting the timeline you wish to experience next. It is the logical and spiritual successor to everything you have activated today. Subscribe and turn on all notifications because our next video, Quantum Timelines Explained: How to Choose the Future That's Calling You, is the next critical step. Receiving the inheritance is one thing. Choosing from multiple is another. After that, we will go even deeper, presenting the startling evidence in parallel realities are more real than you think. Here's the proof, ensuring that your mind has the same level of certainty that your heart is beginning to feel. The path is laid out. The journey is expanding. You came here today feeling so close, yet so far. You felt the spiritual fatigue of waiting for a reward that always seemed just over the horizon. You leave knowing that the horizon was never a destination. It was an invitation. You leave understanding that you are not waiting for anything. You are the inheritor of a kingdom. And today, you have found the keys. Your only job now is to walk through the gates that have always been open to you. Go forward and listen. Your future is calling. Answer.